our grandparents and great-grandparents, when they got together, they actually took the Hotep Jesus approach. Okay, obviously there has to be physical attraction on both sides. I mean, you can't make a baby with someone, you can't make a family with someone you're not sexually attracted to. But our grandparents seem to have the good idea. Okay, listen, they don't have to be the most sexually attractive person around. They have to be 8s, 9s, or 10s, but I have to be able to work with this person. Now, EO talks about this all the time, and so does Kevin Samuels. Relationships in 2021 should not be about love. So that's my question to the panel, starting with Savo. Do you think that love is a necessary component to a successful relationship, or could it be something else?
The kind of love that De Niro talks about in Heat when he says, wow, what is love? It really is just a mutual respect. There's a form of like good-hearted love that comes from a good place of, I just want this person's well-being. I want them to be taken care of, and I want them to be okay. Then there's infatuation. Yep. And I believe that most people mistake, or we have redefined in the culture, what love is, or what being in love is, as being when you are the most infatuated with somebody. Now you're in love. So that's the one to go for. But in reality, I think the person that you just have a really good mutual respect for, a decent level of attraction to, and someone you can work with is where it's at. But who wants to make that sacrifice? Now, I'm 25 years old. I don't want to make that sacrifice. I mean, I have the girl that I work really well with, but I don't want to wife up just yet because I know I want my options. But I think that's all good and well as long as you admit that. You know, when the time comes, I believe I'd know how to find that partner that I could just work well with. Cooperation is the goal, not infatuation. Okay. But women are out here for the most part wanting their cake, and they want their cake and they want to eat it too. They want the infatuation as well as the cooperation. They want everything in one, and that's just never going to happen.
Hotep, I'm gonna change the question a little bit up with you, just based on what Kevin said. Infatuation. Women today believe that infatuation is love. This is why they bounce from relationship to relationship to relationship, because you can't be infatuated with someone forever. And so when they say the newness, well, I don't get butterflies anymore. What they're talking about when a woman says I don't have butterflies anymore, that means they're no longer infatuated. Now, there is a way to keep a woman infatuated with you, and that's when you run asshole game and treat her like dog shit. We'll get into that later. But what are your thoughts on women mistaking love for infatuation? Because in my opinion, infatuation is a feeling that is stronger than love. What say you?
The consciousness of the American dream was created by Hollywood. Right. And love was created by Disney.
Yup.
For a woman, for a woman, the idea of love was created by Disney. Okay. The blueprint was laid out in Cinderella and Snow White, so on and so forth. So essentially what you're dealing with is you're dealing with an entity who has been implanted with a false sense of reality. Jesus Christ. A man whose life is rooted in reality is now faced to conquer a being who has a false sense of reality.
Right, right.
She's believing in a fairy tale. She's believing in a myth. So you need to deal with a woman who's never seen a Disney movie before. You start there.
You ever seen Aladdin? No? All right, come on.
but he hinted at it before, right? It's that whole infatuation, hearts in your eyes and all that stuff. It comes down to respect. It equals, love equals respect and trust. Okay. That's what love is. Respect and trust. If you don't got respect and trust, you don't got love. And that's what you got to seek. If you don't have respect and trust, you can never have love. You do have infatuation. You have a desire for benefit. That's another thing people got to be careful of. People who desire you because there's a benefit of having you in their life. So they pretend to like you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Hotep got smarter since the last season. Like he's like, I'm still waiting on him to be using these 6-syllable words where I'm going to have to turn off my camera and Google it real quick. Man. Very good. Jap, what are your thoughts? Is love a necessary component for relationships in 2021? Yes or no?
No, I don't think it's the most important thing. I think that's something that women say they want, but really don't understand what love is. I always tell people that love is a feeling, like any other feeling. And I try to tell them, like, it's like getting high. A lot of times, if love was real, it's like it would be like a high, like a crackhead. Like a crackhead is always chasing that first high, right?
Right.
And if love was real, you would be married to your high school sweetheart or grammar school sweetheart.
Yep.
If it was real like how it is, because a lot of times people are still chasing that first feeling of when they were in love. But as life progresses, it's not the same. You know, you're in and out of love all the time. It's only a feeling that has to continuously be renewed.
Okay.
So what a lot of women don't understand is that, yes, I can love you now, hate you tomorrow, and you need to do something to make me love you again.
Shit.
They don't want to continue what they've done to stay loved. So everything is conditional.
That's right.
When the conditions change, the love changes. So I don't think that's the main component to have a successful relationship, because again, you'll be in and out of love. Like you come in, you argue one day, like you're not like, well, I love her. You know, like, no, it's respect. You're invested.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the situation that you're in. Eventually, if she gets her shit together, yeah, I'll love her tomorrow, something like that. But right now, I can't stand this motherfucker.
Okay.
That's what love is to me. Love is a feeling. It has to continuously get renewed.
Resparking the high.
Yeah, and once it, you know, it's going to go down and it's going to go up.
Of course. That's life.
You know what I mean? But what's the main component of actually is the respect, and is she useful, and is she and then you have to have something to compare it to. Comparing it to, like, it's like real estate, the comps. So
Okay.
whatever's out here on the market, and I say, okay, I gotta take the good with the bad. Do I really want to sit out here and deal with another one of these?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
cost
invest
benefit,
another
like Hotep talked about earlier.
4 years or whatever like that. And I know this idiot, you know what I'm saying? And she'll get through this or whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, she has good qualities. Or do I want to go out and learn somebody totally new? So I just feel like it's a feeling, and it's only a feeling.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because again, it's nothing that you can put any type of value on. You can't equate it to anything like that. You can't cash it in. You know, and if love was real, like how everybody perceives it to be,
yeah,
you would be with the first person you was in love with.
That's right. We wouldn't be here.
Changing.
So
So
wouldn't be here.
Apparently somebody changed their mind.
BOA, is love a necessary component for a relationship in 2021?
You know, my perspective on it is this: you have to think about the emotional volatility of love.
Okay.
Like when you love a woman, I bet you do something, man, have you in your feelings. Like you when your feelings are hurt, that shit is toxic, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Like that shit is toxic, man. I've talked to men, man, I had to talk them off the ledge just over some broad walking out on them. I'm like, damn, bro. Well, like where you live on an island, she the only broad, she done dove in the ocean on you. So when you think about it, man, you have to think about the average human emotional capacity only has so much depth to deal with that shit.
Okay.
And when that infatuation that Savo was talking about in the beginning takes over, you invest too much of that emotional capacity into that bullshit.
Right.
So now everybody's fucking burnt on love. Everybody's burnt on that shit, man. Nobody wants to take a deep dive on that anymore. We all have a stopping point that stops before we get into the deep dive on that, because nobody wants to risk the emotional volatility that we're all familiar with.
Wow.
It's just not worth it anymore.
Wow.
Because relationships just seem like they're not gonna last.
Right.
So you put yourself on a hook for that. It's like taking every dollar you have and betting that shit on a horse with a broken leg. I mean, it's gonna run the race, but
right.
you know, there's a good chance that you're gonna be broke. So I think the love component of it has to be replaced by a necessity component.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This is what I want to do in my life. How can I plug someone in who is such a necessity that I value them beyond that love shit, where they can still get the same, you know, the same connection, the same fair treatment, the same appreciation that people think they get in love? Because, man, nobody appreciates love. You, as a man, you're out of your fucking mind when you're in love, bro.
Shit.
Like, you can't be logical and in love at the same time.
Nope, not possible. Can't do it.
And as men, we base our entire existence, the improvement of our existence, on our ability to be logical, on our problem-solving capacity, on our wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, which is gone when you're in love. So I think for a man, stay your ass away from that love shit, man.
Wow, very nice. Before I go to EO, I made I put a post on Instagram, and I listed 5 women. And the first woman was Amy. The second woman was Tatiana. Number 3 was a girl named Jennifer. Number 4 was a girl named Christiana. Number 5 was Devin. In that order, those are the women that I have loved the most. Guess what? Failed miserably with Amy, even more miserably with Tatiana. Jennifer, that was a heartbreak. Christiana, I'll never tell anybody about that. And then there's there's Devin. Everybody hit me. Oh my God, I can't believe you. Nah, check this out. This is exactly what Dr. BOA just talked about. This does not mean that I don't love Devin, but when you really do love a woman, not only is it toxic, it's intoxicating. And it's just like he said, it is damn near impossible to make logical decisions when you love a woman that much. And if you can't make logical decisions for the both of you, the relationship is doomed to fail because you're the captain of the ship. And if you guys are both infatuated, intoxicated with each other, dude, it's doomed to fail, just like the Titanic. One of you has to be the least emotionally invested, and it's got to be the man. Otherwise, the relationship is doomed. So, EO, I'm going to pose the question to you. Is love a necessary part of relationships here in 2021?
You know what? These gentlemen said a lot of great things. And one thing I want to tell the audience listening is that you're very fortunate to have YouTube, that you can source men like us that are, I think Kevin is 25, so he's still a little young yet, but he's well-rounded. I can hear that.
Oh yeah.
But the older you get as a man and the more experience you have, the more clarity you should get.
Right.
Okay, about life. And there's an astounding amount of self-deception that I see in human beings today.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, it's just astounding, the amount of self-deception that I'm seeing. I'm going to tell you this. I'm more interested in results than love.
Okay.
I'm more interested in results. I once had a woman tell me after meeting me briefly that she loved me. And I remember I looked over, I was sitting in a corner chair. And she was sitting on my sofa. She said, "You know what, E, I love you." I looked right at her and I said, "You don't love me. I'm going to tell you what you do love, though. You love yourself, the feeling that you have when with me." And there's a big difference between actually loving the man or loving who she is creating or who I'm creating her to be and who she is witnessing herself to be when in my presence. Okay, so I think there's a big. I am for bringing the best out in people, whether it's a man or a woman. If I'm with a friend of mine, I'm gonna bring the best out in that brother. If I'm with my woman, I'm gonna bring the best out in that woman. It's not something I need to do. It's something that I want to do. It's because I'm constantly doing the necessary introspection in my life to be the best man I could be. And I hold myself under extreme accountability. And that's why I do it with others in my life. So I'll say this. I'm going to pick the woman I got the most peace with. I'm going to pick the woman that I can have solid communication with. I don't even need her to be super fine. Like I said last night on our show, Donovan, give me a 6.5 and then I'll dress you up on a Saturday night and make you my 8.5. And I'm cool there. Okay. So for me, I need peace. But again, you're talking to a 40. You're hearing from a 41-year-old man. When I was Kevin's age, 25, maybe different story. Didn't have YouTube, didn't have mentors and people I could learn from. We actually had to get out there in the streets and make shit happen and make a ton of mistakes and then play catch up. Whereas now it's a blessing that you can get this information early. So make sure that you patronize these men on this panel because we had to go the long way in some situations to get this information for you. So I'll say this. I'm not big on love like Minister Jab said and like the other men said. It's a fleeting emotion, just like anger is too. So you want to keep that in mind. Anger and love are two emotions that are fleeting. So don't make a passionate decision, whether it be love or anger. Just learn how to have that emotional intelligence. And so it's very important. And so I'll say this, women love when they're with me, but I will never, ever believe that they truly love me, the man. They love how I make them feel.
There you go.
They love the sight of me. They love watching me in action. They like watching me make transactions, but they love who they are. Remember, all human beings are selfish. Even that human being who is out there being very charitable and they call themselves a selfless person, that decision to be selfless, to be a giver, it's still a selfish decision.
Yes.
So each human being is selfish. And once you know that everyone is out for their best interest, whether they announce it or not, you'll be in good shape. So results over love for me.
Save